Ready? Hey, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in today on the Chatterbox with Sannecia with Transformation. Today, I wanted to come in, I wanted to hear stories. 10 years ago, I jumped on Facebook and I told my story. My story went viral, and I never knew that my story would inspire so many people around the world. So, what I wanted to do was gain other people's stories so you guys can hear their stories because there's so many other powerful stories that's unheard that people just don't hear. So, I want to share more about mental health, and today we'll be talking about domestic violence. I have Miss Ross here, and I want to tell you thank you for coming on today.
Thank you
You
for
was the
having
first
me.
person that came to my heart and my spirit
Hmm.
when I had this vision to do this. I called LaQuinta and I was like, I want to hear other people's stories. And I prayed about it. And you're the first
Amen.
person. I know me and you had talked for like maybe 5 minutes
Right.
one day. Boosie was coming down. And once
Yes.
again, you was referred to me. And when I heard you tell a little bit about yourself, you gave me chills. And I
Wow.
was saying, hold on, we're gonna go to lunch. So when I wanted to just like, I want to actually hear your story
Hmm.
and what mental health means to you in domestic
Hmm.
violence. So can you share a little bit about who you are, what you do?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And thank
You
you for
welcome.
the opportunity. Well, my name is Amiracle Ross.
Mhm.
Originally from Mississippi.
Mhm.
I'm a chef, entrepreneur, mother of 13. I have my own nonprofit, which is
Mhm.
called the Three-Legged Stool, where we help young girls that's been violated,
Mhm.
molested, raped, domestic violence, all type
Mhm.
of things like that. But my domestic violence story, it started when I was 16 years old.
Mhm.
I grew up, without my dad, so it was always this void of
Mhm.
wanting to be loved and wanting to be accepted. So the first guy that came along and what
Mhm.
I thought, well, as a young girl was love, actually wasn't.
Mhm.
He caught me at a very vulnerable place in my life, not having guidance, not having that male figure to speak life into me. So
Mhm.
he came in and he played on that.
Yeah.
I'm 16, 17 years old.
Right.
He's 27,
Wow.
way more experience.
Mhm.
He manipulated me, played on my innocence,
Right.
basically. And so I messed around with him for maybe like a year and a half, 2 years, something like that, and things began to change.
Mhm.
I was going into my senior year of high school, and he
Mhm.
would come and get me and buy me nice things, just really finding
Mhm.
ways to control me
Right.
through
Manipulate.
things,
Right.
manipulate. And so I never forget, it was, seniors get out, of course,
Mhm.
early, at least
Mhm.
2 to 3 weeks earlier before everybody else. There was a lot of parties and,
Mhm.
different things like that was going on. I remember his cousin was actually my classmate. And we was walking just down the streets. Girl had my little shorts on, young. I think I was fine,
Right.
young
Especially at
girl.
16.
Yes, 17 years old,
Right.
we finna
Yes.
graduate. And he ended up pulling up
Mhm.
and he was like, get in the car. And I'm like, when my girl's like, who you think you talking to,
Right.
And traffic backed up like in the middle of the road. He's like, get in the car, Miracle.
Mhm.
I'm like, no, I'm not getting in the car. We chilling.
Right.
My friend girl looked at me. She said, Miracle, you better get in that car.
Mhm.
And so I was like, man, I'm trying to be hard. This man was not
Right.
playing.
Right.
So I leave, get in the car with him immediately. Once I got in that car, he started bashing my head into the window and in the
Was
side
y'all
of the
already
door.
dating?
Yeah, we've been dating for a minute, but he had never like been physical like that.
Right.
He'd grab me or, little stuff
Mhm.
like that, or you gonna do, how
Mhm.
men be. But that particular day he was pissed,
Mhm. Was
like
that his first time like putting his hands on you?
that, like that in that manner,
Right.
yes. And
Right.
so I remember us taking off, he just pushing me and hitting me. And I remember like we was just riding around all day. Like he made me stay with him,
Right.
just wouldn't let me get away from him. And
Mhm.
I remember later on that night he was just on one, still going, going,
Mhm.
going. And I remember him taking me out. It's like I'm from Kansas, Mississippi, so there's like a country area
Mhm.
out there where they grow crops and different things like that. And I remember him taking me out there in that area, and it was them cornfields and
Mhm.
all types,
Mhm.
so many different little roads out there.
Right.
And so I remember him pulling over, and he pulled a gun out, put it to
Mhm.
my head, literally just put it up, was going off, was like, I'll kill you out here, your family won't find you. You know, he hit me.
And you 17 at the time.
Yes, like
Right.
lost it. Like nobody would have never,
Mhm.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They would have found me out there. And I never forget that. And it was so crazy because I remember my auntie telling me, if you don't leave this guy alone, you don't get out the streets, you're gonna end up dead. She would
Mhm.
tell me that. And I never told anybody that I was having dreams of my own funeral.
Wow.
Of my own funeral. And it was crazy. I was like, okay, I'm finna die. I knew he was gonna,
Mhm.
do something. And it's crazy how his phone rang,
Mhm.
and that's what saved me. He
Wow.
got a phone call, and
Mhm.
he had to leave. But that night, I knew.
Mhm.
I said, "This guy's gonna kill me,"
Mhm.
So I got away from him. Went and told my family, different
Mhm.
ones what was going on. Him and my aunt kind of exchanged words. Things got kind of crazy.
Right.
Got away from him and went right back to him.
While I'm over here, I have my phone because I was gonna. This was gonna be scripted. I had some questions for you, but
Okay,
I'm
go
gonna put my
ahead.
phone down.
Yeah,
But we're gonna freestyle
that's
this,
I'm
okay?
with you.
Because I'm over here. When I hear women talk about domestic violence,
Mhm.
it just does something to me.
Right.
It upsets me. Why? Because I'm a domestic violence survivor,
Mhm.
right? And I've been through that, and especially at a young age. Um, Daddy issues, same thing. I didn't
Mhm.
really have a father figure.
Right.
So when I was younger, I would date older guys because, especially in guys in the streets,
Mhm.
you know,
Love me a thug,
because
honey.
that's why I felt for some reason how I got my protection.
Absolutely.
So I suffer with doing that. It came with a lot of domestic violence.
Mhm.
So keep going. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I got out of there. Like I said, I left him alone for a little
Mm-hmm.
minute, but I'm like, he loved me, and he started coming back, out in the country because we lived out in the country. Come out there, ride out there, and I worked at Pizza Hut, so to ride by my job. Like I said, started back trying to be nice, woo me, buying gifts, different
And you
things
go
like
back each
that,
time.
and I went
What
back to
what
him.
what it made you continue to go back?
Because I didn't have nobody. It
Right.
was like I felt like he cared. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like if
Mm-hmm.
I needed something, he gave it. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like we
Right.
would do things together. Like
Right.
he made me feel like I was important,
Mm-hmm.
but in actuality, he didn't really care.
Yeah.
You know,
And I hear that a lot. That's a big thing of daddy issues.
big time.
I don't know what it is with daddy issues and domestic violence, but women that get in these relationships and a lot of them suffer daddy
Daddy
issues
issues.
and they
Absolutely.
stay. We stay. I'm not
Yes.
gonna say they stay and we stay. And when people ask, and well, why did you stay?
Right.
I don't know. I don't know.
Mhm.
Nobody like getting their ass kicked.
Not at
But
all.
we do. We stay in these
Right. And I
relationships.
know for me, it was that void.
Hmm.
My mom was murdered when I was 2.
Wow.
Um, she was 24 years old, just
Hmm.
graduated, got a nursing degree, was dead, gone. She's supposed to marry my daddy,
Hmm.
like a couple of days after she got out of school or whatever, and she ended up getting murdered
Hmm.
by her best friend, stabbed in the neck with a meat cleaver
Wow.
and bled to death. So after burying her and all of that, my
Hmm.
daddy left.
Yeah.
There was no type of
So this man
relation.
filled a void for you.
Basically,
Yeah.
the only man to me that I felt a so-called love
Right.
connection with,
Yeah.
he was there. He pampered me like
Hmm.
prom, bought all my stuff for prom, Valentine's Day. I come to my job, it's flowers and roses and like it was stuff everywhere.
Right.
Jordans taking me shopping. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I didn't have that,
Hmm.
and he did make me feel protected
Right.
and wanted, and you beautiful, you this, you that.
So getting older, did you stay with him throughout? Because I remember saying you had children. How many
Right.
children do you
I
have?
have 13
Are
children.
they all by him?
Not at all.
Okay.
So I got out of that relationship.
Hmm.
Then I got married
Okay.
for the first time.
Hmm.
Got into that. That was a really rocky relationship. It was a little domestic
Hmm.
fighting in that relationship too, where we fight. He want to hook stuff up under my
Hmm.
car. He actually got caught cheating on me
Hmm.
Valentine's Day weekend with a undercover sting. They had those
Hmm.
undercover things.
Prostitution ring.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was out sleeping with prostitutes. He ended up getting a prostitute pregnant with twins, all type of stuff. I ended up
Mm.
leaving him. I remember the day I left him. I
Hmm.
never forget. I was with my auntie. She came and got me. We went to this Mexican restaurant
Hmm.
trying to, just get a meal, clear my head. He was just blowing my phone
Hmm.
up, and he was like, "I'm at the pawn shop." I was like,
Right.
"At the pawn shop?" I'm like, "Why are you calling me?" He said, "I'm
Hmm.
finna buy another gun." And
Mm.
he said, "When I see you, I'm gonna kill you." calling my grandma, calling different.
Second relationship,
Yes,
same
yes,
thing. Mhm.
crazy. Do you
And I
hear
don't
me?
know, it seemed like we'll get in one relationship, and when we get out of that relationship, we go back to a
Right. But
different
he
relationship.
wasn't like that though.
They be a little
A
different,
little
but it be the
different.
same
Yep. He played it so
bullshit.
well. I had my family thinking he
Yeah.
loved me. He went and bought me a house.
Mhm.
I ain't have to work. I was a stay at home mom. I was pregnant with his
Mhm.
child, all of that. But that Negro told me, I got papers on you.
Mhm.
You belong to me.
Yeah,
And
they
it's
think
like
that,
the real
which is
him.
another form of manipulation.
Yes.
You know
And
what I'm
the
saying?
real him
Yeah.
came out.
Right.
And I got tired of fighting. He would he had suicidal issues too,
Mhm.
like self-esteem
Because a lot of
issues.
times the men are damaged as
He was
well.
very
And when I
damaged.
say when I say domestic violence, and let me make this clear, it's not just women
Right.
because there are men who suffer domestic violence as
Absolutely.
well. But and it's more women
Right.
that go through domestic
Absolutely it
violence,
is.
which when we get in these relationships and we're going through this, it brings on mental health,
Absolutely.
because on down the road, after you done been through several relationships and all of them, have been traumatizing,
Very
then that
traumatizing.
kicks in your mental.
Hmm.
I know myself, I was diagnosed with PTSD and a little bit of what they say it was something that was basically
Yeah.
like, girl, you crazy.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I went through
But
that
it's
too.
because of domestic
Trauma, the
trauma in
trauma. Absolutely.
relationships.
Absolutely. I mean, I would, and I'm gonna be so transparent right now. It was so bad for me. Like I would fall into depression. I used to
Mhm.
pull my hair out in the
Mm,
middle of my head. I used to have a bald spot, and my grandma
mhm,
said, "It's just your nerves." I would just sit there and rub and
mhm,
pull my hair out. And
mhm.
eventually, my grandma was like, "You got to go get on some." So they
Yeah.
started putting me on what is it, Xanax and
Mhm,
different little things like
mhm.
that. I was
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
crazy.
They try to keep you drugged up with all this medication, but what really helps in the healing of the process is what we're doing right now, is
Absolutely.
talking about it.
Confession is
Because
good.
we'll,
So
like me, will have things that's just sitting in us. I had things
right.
that was sitting in me for years. And what I would do to suppress that was take sleeping meds and different
Hmm.
things to,
Self
I
medicate.
thought it was making it go away, but it wasn't. It was
Right.
just making it
My
worse.
my thing was not only the drugs, eating.
Mm-hmm.
I would snack and girl, I go spend $5 and $6
Mm-hmm.
on little candy,
Mm-hmm.
fruity bags,
Mm-hmm.
just
Yeah,
brownies was my
addictions are all
go-to.
different.
Yes,
Yeah,
like
we are.
ramen noodles. Girl,
Yeah.
I go hook a ramen noodle up. Do you
Mm-hmm.
hear me? Grilled cheese, all types. Like
Yeah.
it was just eating, 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 eating. I began
Right.
to gain weight, and
Mm-hmm.
it was just out of control. Like
Right.
I could not stop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
told me something that really, it really touched me.
Hmm.
You stated that your daughter was molested by your boyfriend.
My husband, my
Hmm.
ex-husband.
So dealing with something like that, what does mental health look like when you deal with something like that?
Oh God, it's like you go into a very, very, very dark
Mm-hmm.
place. That was probably the worst thing I think I could have ever went through. I was married for almost 20 years. He
Wow.
was a pastor. We was in ministry. I left my home in Mississippi, moved here, sleeping on the floor in a
Mm-hmm.
two-bedroom apartment. I think in that time we had like 7 or 8 children doing ministry. Gave it all up for God. And to get a phone, well, I got a text message first stating that I needed to come home. And I was like, come home. Now, prior, he had a stroke like 4 or 5 months prior to that. So he wasn't working. I'm, working, trying to take care of him and 13 children by
Right.
myself. Of course, that was stressful.
Right.
So I get the text, like, you need to come home. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what's going on? He's sick. My stepdaughter, Ramona, was the one that texted me. She never would tell me what was going on. I get
Mm-hmm.
another text, come home now.
Right.
I'm like, come home. What is going? Nobody's saying that. I'm calling the house phone. Everybody got a cell phone. Nobody's answering the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And so finally, at that time, my daughter Ziggy, which as a ride we call her Ziggy, she calls me back on the house phone, screaming. And I was like, what is going on? What's wrong? I said, your daddy okay? She said, no, daddy raped Kalia said daddy raped her. And it was just like this sound in
Mm-hmm.
her voice that I had never like just some went through me when I
Mm-hmm.
heard her. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, what did you just say? Daddy raped Kalia. She just screaming it. And I said, what? Like something just in me broke.
Yeah.
And so I left my job, came home, the worst night of my life. I would have never in my life would have thought he would have done something like that after being with him that long, being in
20
ministry,
years.
almost 20 years
A
being,
pastor.
yes, ministry, well known. People love him, can preach his butt off,
Mhm.
love to help and be there for people. I would have never thought, and I always was overprotective
Mhm.
of our children. So it was just like, who is this person?
Mhm.
What made you, you know what I'm saying? What possessed you to do this? So when that happened, my whole world just crumbled.
Yeah.
And one night, my daughter was admitted into the hospital.
Mhm.
She was suicidal. I lost my husband in the same night.
Right.
My daughters was tore up. They coming from out of state. My other daughter here was losing it. Like it
Yeah.
just everything just crumbled
Right.
in one decision, one night. And I just went into a really, really dark place because when that happened, I had to take, of course, take my daughter, to the
Mhm.
hospital to get checked or whatever, and they polices and you dealing with DHS, like it's just
And then we
chaotic.
go into a blame because I mean you
How
didn't
did I
know,
miss it?
but
Yeah,
how did I not see this coming?
exactly,
This is somebody. This was your husband for 20 years, so
exactly.
obviously you trusted him,
With
and so
all
did your
my heart,
children.
yeah.
So that had to be once again mental.
Yeah, I broke down. I shut down.
Right.
I was angry,
Mhm.
furious. I want to fight everybody. Like I never in my life had that type of rage
Right.
in me. You know what I'm saying? Like I just could not understand. It's just it tore me up.
Like why me?
Why
Yeah.
exactly?
Why
And I'm
me?
asking God. I said, God, I done been through so much. I lost my
Yeah.
mama, my dad, all types of stuff. Brother done died on me. I'm recalling everything. I said, but
Mhm.
this,
Yeah.
I'm asking God, why me?
Yeah.
And He said, why not you?
Hmm. Exactly.
Why not you?
Yeah. I
I've
can.
given you the grace to overcome this.
Mhm.
Sometimes we think we're going through stuff for ourselves, and it's not. This is to help somebody else, to minister to somebody else. And so, this particular situation taught me how to forgive, not just
Mhm.
with my mouth saying it, but from the
Mhm.
heart.
Exactly.
Because God deals with our heart
Yeah.
more than He deals with anything.
Mhm.
And so, it taught me that, ain't nobody above
That's right.
falling or getting
Mhm.
caught up in situations, but God will give you the grace to
That's right.
overcome and to forgive.
Mhm.
You got to forgive, be forgiven, and give.
Ooh.
So that was the principle. Girl, I'm about to cry.
Ooh.
Hold on.
Man, that's deep.
Don't do it to
That's
me,
deep.
Jesus. But that's the principle that God taught me.
Mhm.
Um, in that, can you still show love?
Mhm.
Can you still give grace,
Mhm.
even when they don't deserve it?
Right.
Because mercy still rejoices against
That's
judgment. Can you
right.
show mercy
Mhm.
even if he may not need it? You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So
It.
God was working in me. Something He showed me me. He showed
Mhm.
me my heart in the matter.
Right.
You know what I'm
I
saying? A
love
lot of
that.
people think that's crazy or that's weird. It's not.
It's
But
real.
God was
Yeah.
maturing me
Mhm.
because He knew what I was about to go through. And if I
Right.
wouldn't have forgiven him, sickness could have came on me. I could
Mhm.
have definitely hurt somebody else. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? I could have been completely broken. But I
Mhm.
had 13 other people that I was
Right.
responsible for. So God had to work on me first
Mhm.
to be the example
That's
before my
right.
children because they needed the grace.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So my daddy teaches this. He said, you better cry to God before things make you cry.
Mhm. Because it will.
It
Phew.
will. And so I
Mhm.
learned that in
Yeah.
that. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
I thank God for the experience. I hate that it happened,
Mhm.
but my relationship with God got better.
Yes.
Now I can minister
Mhm.
in a different capacity. You know what I'm saying?
That's
God has
right.
given me capacity now. I
Right.
can carry more, I can hold more, I can
Mhm.
share more because I've been through it.
Right.
It's not just me just saying, just talking. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? I'm actually the messenger in the
And you're
message.
doing it. You're walking it, and your story
Absolutely.
is transparent and it's real. You
Really
know,
real.
so it's respected more when it's real.
Absolutely. I've
And
been
he
through
was
it.
molding you on everything that you went through when you begin to question God. Because I remember those days when I questioned God too.
Mhm.
I'm like, why me? I didn't
Absolutely.
understand that.
Hmm.
So now I look back, I don't hate the people who did me
Right.
wrong. Now I'm like, thank you because it helped me to be who I am
Right.
today. So
Absolutely.
I feel like if I didn't go through any of those things, I wouldn't have a story. And
Absolutely.
you wouldn't have a story. And we
Absolutely.
wouldn't be sitting here together sharing our story.
Absolutely. And I think about that as well. I'm grateful,
Right.
because if you don't deal with things, you don't
Hmm.
overcome things.
Hmm.
Hurt people.
That's right.
And I refuse.
Right.
I made sure when I went through that dark space, but I had the right people around me too,
Mhm.
telling me, Miracle, get up.
Mhm.
Don't stay here.
That's right.
It's not who
Mhm.
you are. And oh, Jesus, I'll never forget this. My associate pastor at our church
Mhm.
told me this. He said, do you know who you are? I said, I'm a miracle. He said, no, do you know who you really are? And
Mhm.
I said, yeah, I'm a miracle, Ross. Yeah, like, yeah, what are you
And that's her
saying?
name, you guys. Her
Yeah, he
name
was
is
like,
a miracle.
yeah, yeah. And he was like, no, do you know who you are? He said, what is a miracle? He said, you're
Mhm.
a walking manifestation of the power of God.
Wow.
He said, you better remember that.
A walking testimony.
Absolutely. And when he told me that, I
Mhm.
was like, oh, I get it.
Mhm.
He said, something gonna always happen for you. He said, you gonna always, you might go through some things, but
Right.
you always come out on
Overcome.
top.
That's right.
He told me, he said, if you fight, you'll win.
Mhm.
And so I learned that don't
Mhm.
ever give up. I don't care. When I say I took hit after hit
Mhm.
for 3 years
Mhm.
going through that process, I was humiliated publicly.
Mhm.
I was persecuted by the church more than anything.
Mhm.
Family turned their backs on me. I'm being talked about like a dog.
Mhm.
My job, people saying all type of stuff. How you didn't know? I mean, when
Right.
I say my name was drugged through the mud, and God said, "Be quiet."
Yeah. Be
I couldn't say
still.
nothing.
He said, "Be still."
Exactly,
Yeah.
I couldn't
Mm.
say nothing. I had to take it patiently.
Right.
But in the end, I came out on
And
top.
look at you now.
Absolutely, it's all God. I'm here
Tell
by the
us
grace of
about
God.
your cooking, because
Oh
I know you
yeah,
do, and I see
yeah.
you blooming and blossoming, and I'm like
Amen.
super duper proud of you, especially
Thank
like
you.
really hearing your story and your struggles now. It make me even like respect your hustle
Amen.
more, you
Yeah.
know.
So, a Miracle Soul Kitchen
Mhm.
was birthed from that
Mhm.
season in my life. We used to have a food truck. We actually had a food truck called Ross History Eatery where
Mhm.
we, fed people, fed the ministry, different things like that. But of course, that dissolved through the divorce and different things. So, my friend girl would tell me, she said, Miracle, get back to what you love.
Mhm.
You love to cook,
Right.
you love feeding people. And so I started back cooking,
Mhm.
and just going back at it. And I was like, okay, what am I gonna call this? And then one day it just came to me, a Miracle
Yeah.
Soul Kitchen,
I love it. I love it.
seasoned
And
with
I heard you got some
love.
good food. I
Amen.
cannot wait to try
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
We're gonna be waiting on your book.
Yes.
And I just once again, I just thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. And I don't want you to stop here.
I'm not
I want you to
never gonna
continue to
stop.
tell your story
Got
because
to.
it's so inspiring. You have inspired me today, you
Amen.
know. And I just thank you for
I'm
coming.
grateful to be here. Like this is beautiful.
Yes. Yeah.
I thank you for seeing something in me, that others may need. And
Yes.
so that's the grace of God,
Yeah. Right.
So
Yeah. You're gonna do good in life. You're gonna do
I
good.
received it. I
Yes.
believe it.
Yeah.
I definitely do. My ladder will be greater. I tell
It's gonna
myself
be
that every
great.
day. I have not went through this for nothing.
No, no, we
And my
don't go through
children
that for
gonna
nothing.
rise up and they gonna call
Yeah.
me blessed and they gonna
Mhm.
testify what
That's
God has
right.
done, what they've
Yes.
seen God do.
Yes.
God gonna get the glory out of all of
Strong.
this.
13 babies.
13,
Yeah, and
mother
you look good,
13.
girl.
Gotta
Yeah.
keep you. I'm telling you,
He
he will keep
will.
you.
And it's
So,
so amazing, we go through things and we don't look like that. We've been through those
mhm.
things. And we come out the fire. We don't be smelling like
Come on
smoke,
now.
So it's definitely a God thing,
Absolutely.
you
I
know.
don't take credit for
Yeah.
none of it because
None
I
of it.
know I would not be here. I'm
Right.
telling you,
Yeah.
I was about to leave.
Yeah.
The state of mind I was
Right.
in, suicidal,
Yeah.
all of that. I could have been gone.
Hmm.
Just gave it up.
Yeah.
Wasn't even thinking about nobody but
Right.
myself because I was hurting. But
What would the younger you tell yourself now?
the younger you would tell myself now,
Mm,
I'm proud of you.
I love that.
You didn't give up. You've been hurt. You've been kicked down, cast down, but you never gave up. You got back up. You kept walking. You kept going through it. And look where you at now.
Amen.
You're a
Hallelujah.
miracle.
You are a miracle. Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay.
So before we even get off, we have a couple questions that
Okay.
we want to ask. When you were transitioning and going through the things that you were going through with your job and in church,
Hmm.
the backlash and everything that you deal with, other than prayer, how did you deal with it?
I had to get counseling. I had to surround myself with people. I would be on the phone with um, my friend girls, one, two,
Mhm.
3 o'clock in the morning. I'm up crying, couldn't sleep. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I had people that were solid
Yes.
that could carry me, you know what I'm saying, and undergird me in
Mhm.
that moment. Because if I wouldn't have had them, like I said, I wouldn't be sitting here
Yeah.
right now. I did therapy. Um, I started meditating. I would be in my car sometimes, just quoting scriptures,
Mhm.
declaring over my life. Even if in that moment I may not have completely believed what I was saying, but I
Yeah.
know words have power,
Right.
and I would keep speaking it. I said, I'm gonna see this happen. I just would encourage myself, and I would think about David when he went through what he went through in the Bible.
Mhm.
He lost his whole family. His own son tried to kill him, all type of stuff, but he sat down and encouraged himself in the Lord.
Mhm.
So God would bring things to me to keep me going, or like I could be riding, God to have a sign up, or
Mhm.
he would have random people, come to me. But it was just people speaking life back into me because
Mhm.
I didn't have the strength. So, people have to be there. You gotta have the right people in
Right.
your life.
You
And
have to.
God, he
Yeah.
did that in that moment. He
And who will
really
give
did.
you the right people.
He sure did. I'm
So,
telling you, he really, really did. But that was the main thing, having people
yeah.
praying, speaking life
Yeah.
back
So,
into me.
so the things that you went through, and me being a parent, knowing that once you go through things, having
Mhm.
children, the children also go through things.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So, how did you help your children go through the things that you were going through with the domestic
Mhm.
violence, the other things with your daughter? How did
Right.
you help the other children to get past this? Because I
Right.
know it had to be hard for
Oh, it was very hard. The first thing we had to sit down and talk about it. You got to be real and transparent
Right.
in situations like that. I didn't sugarcoat anything with my children.
Mhm.
I told them everything that was going on, and I asked them, now, how do you feel?
Right.
I would ask them, what's on your mind? Like, what are you thinking?
Mhm.
And I gave them, I said, you can say whatever you want to
Right.
say, express yourself however you want, express yourself. And we would talk, we would
Mhm.
just have conversation. But the main thing I had to tell my children is that I'm here.
Wow.
I had to love on them every time they walk past me, or
Mhm.
I'm sending text messages. I love you. I'm
Yeah.
think, I had to really
Yeah.
pour love because love covers
Yes.
a multitude of sins and faults. So
Mhm.
I had to love on my children and just hold them tight and
Yeah.
speak life into them. And they had
Right.
to get therapy.
Yeah.
We went through therapy with them. They would go once
Yeah.
a week. And I even took a 6-month parenting class. I
Mhm.
would I would do with a therapist every week. We would do Zoom, do the class. So
Mhm.
I had, like I said, I had people that were still
Yeah.
helping me to help them. And that parenting class helped me out a
Yes.
whole lot, like to look for the signs with your children of depression
Mhm.
and suicidal thoughts. Like
Mhm.
it covers so much stuff that like behavior
Yeah.
changes,
Because when we going through, our children is going through it.
they were going through
I'll
it.
get into my story more,
Mhm.
but this is not about me. This is
Yeah.
about
Like my children, one of my sons started having actual heart issues.
you.
It affected him so bad
Mhm.
because him and his daddy was like this. Everywhere he was, his daddy was, that's where he was. It broke my son's
Wow.
heart. We running back and forth to the hospital. He started urinating blood, all type of crazy
Mhm.
stuff was going on.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I said, this is not just normal. I said, this
Right.
is spiritual.
Yeah.
And I had to acknowledge that it was his spirit was out of
Mhm.
way, his soul, he was going through it.
Right.
So we had to attack that first. And I know the Bible said natural then spiritual, but we had to deal with
Yeah.
it. So we had to get him help, having other men speaking to his life,
Mentors.
friends. Yeah,
Yeah.
he needed that. And my
Yeah.
daughter, she started losing her hair. My
Stressing.
stepdaughter,
Yeah.
yeah, it affected her so bad. Hair was literally falling out.
Mm.
We had to get people. When I say I couldn't do it by myself, 13 children, it's a lot. The younger, they didn't know what was going on.
Right.
They was just like, well, daddy not here. I miss my daddy. But the older ones,
Mm.
they went through it angry.
Mm.
Even my daughter that was raped, she was in and out of facility for a year and a half. I didn't see my
How's she
child.
now?
She's doing a whole lot better.
Good.
She's
Mm.
working. She's about to get on her first
Good.
apartment now. She just turned 21. She went through it. The
Yeah.
girl went through it, but I'm so, so proud of
Yeah.
her. You know what I'm saying? She got off her medication.
Mhm.
She's no longer on that. She's able to regulate herself. So God is good.
He is awesome. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you guys for
Mhm.
tuning in today, and I will be on doing this every Thursday, once a month. Transformation with Sannecia. I'll see you guys next Thursday. Not next Thursday, next
Next
month.
month.